Spooky skeletons send shivers down your spine. Hey everyone, welcome back to Rima Reads. It is Spooktober. So today I will be talking about my spooky October reads, except most of them will not be spooky because I do not do scary at all. I am a wimp. I'm going to go through the books that I picked out this month from the least spooky to the most spooky, but again, none of them are actually going to be spooky. I picked out way too many books this month. There is no way I will be able to read them all because I am working so much. But now that the library is open, I have no self-control anymore. So let's go for it. The least spooky book I picked out for this month is Jade War by Fonda Lee. This is the sequel to The Jade City, which I read in September and will be talking about at some point whenever I make my September wrap-up video. I really enjoyed Jade City, and so I will be reading the sequel. I put this as least spooky because, like, the main plot is kind of like two, like, gangs fighting sort over territory sort of thing. This is not really scary, but there is murder, so, like, does that count in the Halloween theme? Yes. The next book I picked for October is Shorefall by Robert Jackson Bennett. It is the sequel to Foundry Side, which I read back in July, and I loved it so much. Link above for the review video. I put in the slightly more spooky category because, like, this cover, I don't know, I feel like it could go in the spooks. Could be kind of spooky. But again, this book isn't really spooky. It's a high fantasy novel, and the magic system is really cool, and the characters are really cool, so I'm very excited to see what's next, but I don't want to say too much about it in case you haven't read the first book. And then the next book I picked, and I promise this will be the last sequel, is The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. It is the sequel to The Poppy War, which I also read last month. This book goes in the slightly more spooky category because if it's anything like The Poppy War is horrific. Like, every trigger warning you can think to put on, you put on that book. So I'm assuming this is going to be somewhat the same. So while it won't be spooky, it's definitely going in the horrific, horror-ish category, so that makes it like slightly more spooky than the other two books. Again, I won't say too much about this book because I will be talking about the Poppy War in my wrap-up video, and I don't want to give away info for people who haven't read it. So the next book I have is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. I don't think this book is actually going to be spooky, but I've heard it very much fits the autumn theme, the autumn vibe. It's about a main character, Isabel, who is a master of, like, paintings and portraits, and she does a lot of paintings for the fair folk. And one day, the Prince of Autumn becomes one of the subjects of her painting, and I heard it's very cute, romantic story, and it has all of those good autumn vibes. So I don't think it's going to be spooky, but it's definitely going to be autumny, so that's why it's in the middle. The next book I'm going to read is An Unkindness of Ghosts by River Solomon. This is about a main character named Aster who lives on this, like, spaceship that's been traveling from Earth to the Promised Land, and it's very much supposed to be like the antebellum South, so a lot of racism and segregation and things like that. Our main character is a Black woman. This one, I am unclear if there are actual ghosts in this. I know it's sci-fi, like, it's supposed to be in space, but then the title says ghosts, so I don't actually know if it's supposed to be spooky or not. That's why it's in the middle of my pile of least spooky to most spooky. But I'm excited to read this book. I've heard lots of good things. It sounds really cool. The next book I'm going to read is A Song of Wrath and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. This book is about a guy named Malik whose younger sister is kidnapped by some vengeful ghosts. And so he, to save her, is joining this competition where he could become king and then try and kill the princess of the town, the village, the country, yes, country that they all live in. And then it also follows the princess Katrina, whose like mom just passed away and she's trying to resurrect her mother and keep the kingdom from falling apart. And I'm pretty sure they're gonna fall in love. Sounds great. Also, like vengeful spirits, bringing back the dead, that good Halloween. So this goes in the slightly more spooky category. Everyone is like reading this book right now, so I'm very excited to hop on this train. So the next book is Woven in the Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez. This book is about a main girl named Zimina. I don't actually know how to pronounce her name, but she's like the stand-in for Contessa, so she's like a decoy Contessa, and she has like the ability to weave moonlight, which sounds super cool. There was a usurper, Atok, who like summoned all of these vengeful ghosts to like drive her people out of the country, and now he's demanding the hand in marriage of the Contessa. So as her decoy, she is sent to marry Atok instead. Again, I think they're gonna probably fall in love. I'm excited to read this. It said vengeful ghosts and moonlight, and also like I think there's this guy like creeping on the cover, so I put this in the more spooky category. I'm wondering if this is going to be similar to A Wrath and Ruin or not, because they, based off of the summaries, they seem like similar vibes, you know? So we'll see how that goes. Next book I'm going to read is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I'm actually almost done with this book, so I got it like years and years ago at a thrift shop, and finally I'm getting around to reading it. It is about a little boy who, when he was a baby, his entire family was murdered by a man named Jack, and he happened to escape and get adopted by a family of ghosts who live in the graveyard, and they protect him from going in the outside world. So it's about his life and about the man named Jack and a graveyard full of ghosts. And it definitely has the October spooky vibe in it. I really like it because so far it's like a children's book, so it's really like, or I guess it's a middle grade book, so it's really like quick and easy to get through. And also like this book has this fun illustrations in it. I don't know if you guys can see it. Like fun illustrations. I love fun illustrations. So anyways, spook level is pretty high in this book. Definitely October vibes. And the last book I am planning on reading in October is The Bone House by Emily Lloyd Jones. This automatically went to the top spookiest book because look at that cover and that title, The Bone House. Yeah. Anyways, it's about a girl named Rin. Notice how I have to like creep in the covers of all of these books to remember their names, but anyways, it's about a girl named Rin who her family and her work at a graveyard. They're grave diggers, and often these like creatures in the grave will come alive and they have to deal with it and stop it. These dead coming alive are called bone houses, and the result of a curse, and Rin meets a map maker and they go on an adventure to stop this curse. So it sounds like a really good, perfect Halloween spooky book. So this is the most spooky book on my list. I don't know how many of those I will get through, seems like a lot to me, especially considering how many hours I'm going to be working this month, but we'll see. Already almost done with one, so very excited for Spooktober. So thank you all for watching my video. Let me know your thoughts on any of the books I've picked out or what you're planning on reading in October. Bye!